Thank you for your application. Unfortunately, after a rigorous consideration, we are dissatisfied to inform you that your application has not been accepted this time. Please start or apply again next year. This has been the fate of many applicants over time. I have people who have applied to multiple schools, multiple universities, and for them, they feel like they actually made a very good application, but unfortunately, it hasn't really yielded any good fruit yet. Oftentimes, we are very quick to point fingers at these institutions or at these people in this board of admission committee selecting candidates. A few times we've not really sat down or sit down on our own part to look at the materials that we are submitting to these people and also try to put ourselves in their shoes. So in this video, I am looking at five things. The first one is the mindset of the applicant before applying. The second one, I'm looking at the timing, and I'll be also be looking at the purpose, the place, and again the documents. In fact, I'm looking at extensively almost everything embedded in making an application solid, and also how you, as an international applicant, and also someone who wants to write or be a good writer or whatever it is, as long as you're writing something for another person to see, I want to take you through the journey of actually making an application, putting together an application packet that might eventually land you an admission in your potential or prospective university. So, welcome and ride with me on this journey. Salvate omnes vos. Hey everyone, my name is Nicholas Salako, and on this edition, I'm coming back here again, as always, like I always do, to talk about studying abroad, what it means to study abroad, and the journey and the elements involved in putting together an application package. And like I always do, I bring you information about studying abroad and anything that surrounds that. So, on this particular episode, I will be talking about how to put together a good application. How to put together a good application if you want to study abroad. It is less about how many schools you're applying to, it is more about the quality of your application and how much work and how much resources, how much condiment are you putting into your application. I've seen people who have applied to 5, 10, 15 schools. At the end of the day, none of those applications getting anywhere. And they keep getting rejection upon rejection upon rejection. I have a friend who has applied to many schools. If any school is having their advertisement online, he's very quick to type there that, hey, I'm about to apply to your school. And then they will tell him, okay, apply. But at the end of the day, he doesn't get admitted. Oftentimes, this thing can be so discouraging, but it's also very important. It's very pertinent to look inward and see what you might be missing when actually putting together application packets. Having worked with a few potential or prospective students for a while, I have seen so many common factors that will deter or stop or even hinder a student progress into getting admitted in these universities. I've been able to look at these universities and look at the things that they are looking for, and also consider a few students who have been admitted and see what they've done. There's a pattern they followed and it has worked for them. All those patterns put together, I've been able to summarize them into 5 to 6 basic steps. I'm going to go through them with you today. And if you journey with me and you can jot things down so that you can take things away, you can get a few things that will help you. So let's dive in. The very first on my list is lack of purpose. Lack of purpose and no academic direction. You see, many applicants leave their countries without having an actual sense of purpose. I understand that coming from the part of the world that we come from, and especially the way the noisy world that we live in these days, is very difficult sometimes to actually have a sense of direction. But if you want to move from your country to another man's country, You need to have a plan. And that plan, you have to stick to it accordingly. That doesn't mean that sticking to it or not sticking to it will make your journey superb. But for the most time or the most cases, it actually helps you to be able to navigate your way, and also it helps you to give you a path that you can follow. When you have a purpose as an international student, going to study abroad, or as a prospective international student, the purpose would also embody your program of study. So you have a clear idea in your head what exactly you want to study. If you know what you want to study and what you want to do with your life, that's going to help you to actually have a direction, have a path. You can't just be existing and someone asks you, what do you want to study? And you don't even know what you want to do with your life. So there was a girl I was talking to a few months ago that really want to study in the US, and she's done with undergrad degree, and we are just talking. I asked her, "What do you want to study? What do you want to do?" She told me she doesn't know. So she doesn't know what she wants to do, but she's longing to come abroad to come study. It's gonna be difficult for her because at the end of the day, the danger is that she will end up studying what she's not supposed to study or what is available to her. And after the 2, 3 years of her master's program, she's still gonna be confused because what she has studied hasn't really, instead of opening ways for her, going to be that she would be starting from the beginning all over again. And you don't want your own story to be like that. So you must, by necessity, sit down and know what your purpose is. And again, when you apply to these schools, when they read your application, they know that this person has no sense of direction. I've read so many applicants' papers, their SOPs, motivational letters, so many. And when I take a paper and I read it from an applicant or a prospective candidate, I can tell very easily that this person actually knows what they are doing or maybe know what they are looking for. So you must, as an international candidate, is a sine qua non, you must mandatorily have a sense of purpose, a sense of direction. And that's the only first step that you have to step on to help you to actually go to the second step that I want to talk about in a minute. Number two is streamlining your countries of interest. Streamlining your countries of interest. If you are a prospective applicant that want to study abroad and you apply to Luxembourg, apply to US, apply to Australia, apply to New Zealand, when you apply in these multiple places, you have no direction and your direction has no intention. And when your direction has no intention, it's going to be shallow, meaning that you have multiple things in your mind. Your mind is multifaceted and it won't work. You end up getting zero from almost everywhere because there's no substance to your application. You must be able to sit down and say, okay, I'm very fascinated by the beauty and the colors in Switzerland. I want to study in Switzerland. And then you start streamlining and looking for the schools in Switzerland. Or you say you want to study in the US. I'm very fascinated by the Southern tradition or the Southern culture. I want to go to Nashville. I want to go to Kentucky. I want to go to Atlanta. All these other places. You look at them and then you streamline countries that you want to study in. You are applying to Europe, you are applying to Asia, you are applying to anywhere below face. When it comes to applying into foreign countries, there's nothing like anywhere benefits. You have to be very intentional with what you're doing. You have to be very intentional with your application. That is a requirement. You can't be everywhere because if you're everywhere, there's no direction in that. So pay attention to your purpose. Also pay attention to the countries that you're interested in and you really want to go to. I'm not saying you should focus on one country, but at least you can have 2 to 3 countries that you're looking at. Okay, I usually have like my top tier and I have a subordinate. You can do it like that instead of having 5 to 6 countries. And it's like you're everywhere. At the end of the day, you master all the trade, but you are not an expert in one. So pay attention to that. And then we go to the third one. Communication is the key to relationship. No relationship survives without communication. Not just communication, but effective and conversational communication. Some people talk to you, they have conversations with you without actually talking to you, if you know what I mean. You talk to them, they talk to you, but there was no conversation. There was no communication because it's like they're just talking to themselves. As an international applicant, one of the best things I always advise people to do if you really want to apply to schools abroad, it doesn't matter the country, try to have communication with these schools. Try to have communication with these schools. You cannot just come from anywhere and then throw in an application. I'm not saying it doesn't work like that. It does work like that. But one of the things that can make you stand out or that can make the school consider you for some scholarship is the very fact that one of the admission person can say, "Oh, I know this person. I know this name." I was about applying to Notre Dame a few years ago, Notre Dame in Indiana, and I've been in communication with them 2 years prior to when I was supposed to submit my application. I have been in communication with them 2 years prior to when I was supposed to submit my application. So that's one thing you want to look at. You want to establish a communication. Let them know you. Ask questions. Even if the question is on their FAQ, they frequently ask questions. Still ask them question. Let them know you. Let them say, okay, this person that actually interested in our school, in our academic community. Let them know that let your name be, prevalent in their system. And don't also do it too much. Be very moderate about it. And then you can see the magic as well. The fourth one, the fourth reason why you've been getting multiple rejection in your application to schools abroad is document disorganization. The truth is, and this is the plain truth, many applicants, especially this day and time, many applicants are very unserious with the way they organize their documents. Many applicants do not organize properly. They have a low sense of organization. You can't be looking towards applying to schools abroad or that is not in your country, and you can't organize. You are not able to organize yourself. You should be able to organize yourself, organize your documents. If you have a document, let's say for example, you want to study in Italy, and you realize, and we know at this point, if you've been watching my previous videos, that with Italian schools, you need translation. An application deadline is next month. But this is May, almost mid of May, and you've not been able to translate your documents yet. And when it's time to apply, you didn't actually fulfill the requirements because there's a translated copy that is needed. You didn't do that, and you apply like that, and they deny your application, and then you start complaining. It's not rocket science, it's just logic. You do the right thing, you get the right results most times. So you must be able to organize your documents. If they ask you to put your passport, your certificate of school living, your TOEFL, whatever it is, put them accordingly the way it was placed on the platform. Do not just sit down nonchalantly, without having any sense of organization, and then you just want things to just work out for you because you are the special breed or the chosen people. Even if you're part of the chosen generation, you still have to work. You have to work out your salvation in fear and trembling. So please, you want to apply to schools abroad, you must be organized in your thoughts, in your application, and also in your documents. Additionally, in addendum, in your relationship with the school. Very important. So take note of it. The last but not the least, the fifth point that I want to make here is that applicants these days actually write very bad essays. We are in a world of chat GPT. As much as ChatGPT is a blessing to the modern man because it gives you information at your fingertips, many people have resort to using ChatGPT as their new academic messiah. And trust me, it will not end well. Because if you're using ChatGPT to write your SOP, and I'm using ChatGPT to write my SOP, and fortunately for ChatGPT, and unluckily for us, we are applying to the same school. We would eventually submit to the same SOP because it's the same deep learning, it's the same language modeling programming that is responding to you and I. So we must be careful about writing bad essays. We must be careful about writing bad essays. Take your time to sit down and write your story. You see, schools abroad, from my experience over time, they are very fascinated and oftentimes very interested in you as a person, more so in your story and what makes you you, what makes me me, and what makes the other person. Trust me, even if you're from the same family, our stories, our experiences are never the same. That is where your personal story comes in. So when they tell you to write an essay of your life, for example, you cannot go to ChatGPT and just give it a prompt and they write for you and you submit. You're going to fail woefully and nobody would admit you because you have to be true to the system. Once you're true to the system, the universe has a way of favoring you. If you've read the work of Paulo Coelho, the alchemist, the universe has a way of aligning with someone who has put in the work. So take your time to write good essays. Take your time to write tangible essays. Take your time to organize your documents. Take your time to build communication. Take your time to also look for good recommenders. Recommendation is also very important. It's a key part of this process. Usually, schools do not know you. They can only know you through what your recommenders say about you and through what you're writing. Let's say, for example, you've performed woefully with your essay. What your recommender has to say about you can go a long way to give you a spot in that academic community. If you go and get somebody who doesn't care about your progress in life and they just go there and write anything, that's on you. You're not going to get admitted. So if you want to put your life into something, just do it well and do it neatly. And you'll be shocked how far you can go. I remembered I was in an interview room with some other guys so many years back. And while I was there, I was jotting things down. While I was jotting things down, one guy there saw me. He was also an applicant. He saw me and he was like, I think you like to write a lot. Try this company, try this agency. They like people that can write. They might take you. And I collected the number of the person in charge of the company. I wrote to them and it was a one-way pick. I'm not saying that you must be an absolutely best writer to be able to, get admitted. No. But there must be something unique about you that I do not have that you can write. Instead of giving us general knowledge, give us personal knowledge. Who are you? Who is the applicant? And the bonus tip that I have for you, a very bonus tip that I have for you is that please, in anything you do, understand that this universe did not come from nothing. There's always something. Okay? In that sense, I'm saying that if you are a Christian or a Muslim, whatever you believe in, try to put everything in the hands of God, the God that you believe in. And I hope that everything comes out for you. Again, if you've been able to learn something from this video today, please, I beg you, like, share, and subscribe. Put all the things I've said into consideration and see how far you can go. And do not fail to put your testimonies in my comment section. And thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. As you can see, I'm very prompt with responding to your questions. And if you have anything to ask me, you have anything to say about my videos or anything, put them in the comment section. I will do well to react to them accordingly. I hope you get the best of the day. I'll be coming with more videos because I heard that a few schools have opened for the summer intake. I mean, ahead of the spring intake, but the applications are open right now. I will go get you the freshest information as always. Please like, share, and subscribe. And have a good evening from here. Bye.